Today I'm fixing my airplane from a crash. So I have to do a little minor repair, and I'm going to make a little video about the repair. Here's the wing, and what happened is it got broke. There's a little pointy thing that comes out here. So I hit over there on the edge. That hit the ground, that end, and when it hit it caused the airplane to kind of twist, and it broke this, and it pushed this into the body of the airplane. So I'm going to strip all this down, and I'm going to make it like new. We'll see. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to strip the skin off. So I'm going to cut it, score it along this, score it there, up under it. Alright, this is a perforation tool, so I'm going to take it over the area I want to pull off, and I'm going to do that. And that way it's kind of releasing the glue that sticks this on, and it'll make it come off a lot easier. Alright, so now we're going to go, what are you doing? Pull this away. This is a cool little tool. You don't press too hard, it's good back scratcher, massager.
Does that not like blades?
Yeah, it'll hurt you if you push too hard though. You see how that is just broke in there with the wood, so that'll be an easy fix. Beats buying a whole new wing or a whole new airplane, right? See, this is a spar piece that goes across here. So, what do I need? Okay, here's what the hole looked like after I got done cleaning it out, so it's all smooth and everything. These are actually two pieces of wood. There's this piece is like a thin sheet, and then this is a spar. It's kind of thick like that, hard piece of wood. So to smooth it all out, now I'm going to take another piece of wood like this, and I'm going to put it up here, and I'm going to cut it. Cut it, and that right there is going to be our filler for that. Okay, so I've cut the piece of wood to the right size. I haven't formed it or anything yet, but I want to make sure it fits in the hole. So it goes in the hole. And, okay, the part's glued in, but it's not shaped yet. So it's in there, and it's firm. I mean, yeah. So once I sand that down, it'll look all apart. It looks like there's a gap, but I'm going to fill this. It'll fill with epoxy. Okay, the wing piece has been epoxied in, and it's all smoothed out. So it's not perfect right here. If this was when the airplane's put together, you really can't even see this part of the wing. So, you know, if it was out here, like in a further piece of the wing, I would do something about it. But because it's down here in the bottom of the plane, it's not perfect, but it's pretty close. We have to take the wing apart, and it's a two-piece wing. So I'm going to unscrew it from here. Unscrewed. It's two sections. I can slide them apart and take it apart. So see how they come apart like that. And then we can get in here, and we're going to have to fix that and that one too. Okay, this is the area that I got to repair. And you see, I had done a repair to this before. This is a kind of a poor design. There's a pointy thing that sticks out here that locks into the airplane, and it just snapped off. Other than that, everything's fine. But because I epoxied it in so hard last time on both pieces, and that was like a quick repair, this is a little bit more extensive. I have to bring out the big guns because this is like cement. I mean, I would tear the plane apart to pull this out. So now I've got to bring out the big guns, and I got to pull my saw out, and we're gonna have to cut. All right, I'm ready to saw. The saw is really not designed for this. First of all, the wing has a bevel to it, so it's called dihedral, and it can't lay flat. So I'm having to hold the wing at an angle to kind of cut that piece out. So wish me luck. I hope I don't cut my hand off. Okay, so here's the finished product, and you see I removed just a very small amount of wood from there. Actually, here's the piece, and right there. And now we'll go back. I'll do that to the other side, and then we'll add a piece in. This is where the hard part comes in. I've got to create the inserts to go in that, so it's going to have to be. I took the old piece that I cut out, or a piece of it, like I'm just going to use it kind of as a template, and I got to go down here. You know, I got this extra piece of wood here, and I'm going to have to trace it, and then it has a like a nipple type pointer thing here, so I'm going to have to kind of have to do it by sight. It's going to be like trial and error. So, you know, this has got to go on here like this, but I've got to cut it into this new 1/8 inch piece of wood. So we'll see. Wish me luck. I'll show you when I'm done tracing. Okay, I'm done tracing the first piece. I know that really doesn't look the same, but when I cut it out, if I have to, I can shape it by sanding it a little bit, but I'll make that one, and then I'll use it as a template to make a second one. Okay, here's the piece I cut out, and that's where it's got to go. So if you look, it fits in there pretty nicely. So what I have to do, you know, and it'll fit up against the edge there, and that's the little nipple I was telling you that needs to go out there, and it connects into the airplane. So it's not perfect, but it's a little oversized, or what that'll allow me to do is once it sets in, then I can shape it perfectly to the wing. So I cut it a little larger than what I exactly need it, so that once I get it on there, then I can shape it more precisely. So I'm going to go and make the second wing repair piece now, and then we'll glue them in. Okay, now I got my pieces, so I'm going to epoxy them on. So I have this 5-minute epoxy. It's a quick mix, so I'm going to apply it, and then when I come back, we'll put it on, and we'll start shaping. Okay, so both pieces, I put the epoxy on. They're sitting there. Like you can see, it's kind of a rough set in there. So we'll let it harden. The main thing was to get the angle of the leading edge and the angle of this, so when I put it into the airplane that they match. So, you know, I've got the two pieces. They got to dry for like 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll start shaping them up. Okay, so I just kind of, it's dry now. It's still kind of tacky. It's not totally dry, but it's dry. It's hard. Anyway, so I don't want to stick them together all the way. This slides together, but so I got it here together just so I can shape it. So if you would look at it, you know, the contour is a little high there. So I'm going to be taking this edge off and just fixing these to where they're perfect. Because if you put it together, let's put it together. You know, see, they got to be much better than that. We want that to be perfect, so we'll work on it. Yeah. So I used the Dremel tool right here to take all the high spots out, so it's kind of pretty uniform now. So you know, everything is kind of the same. So now I'm just gonna take my sanding pad and kind of give it a finishing touch. So we're almost done, and then we'll try to fit it to the plane, and then we'll clean it up and cover it. Okay, the repair is pretty much complete. I've sanded it down. This is really strong, you know, and I pretty much matched all this up. So remember, as far as being pretty, you know, I'll clean all this up with some debonder in a minute. But this is inside the airplane, so it's really never seen. You'll see it when we put it together in a minute. But so you know, everything is contoured and curved. So I peeled this off a little bit, just give me a little bit more room to work with the covering. And it's ready to go back together. So now I've got to clean up my mess, which I'm good at making a mess right here in the kitchen. So I'll clean this up because the next part requires us to have a clean work area so that we can put the covering on. And then we're done, and maybe this afternoon we can go flying. Okay, my work area is now clean. And I've gained an audience. My daughter, my wife, she's making me lunch. So we're going to start. You know, I got my measurer, I got my measuring stick, and I got my blue monocoat, and I got my white monocoat. This is the covering. You know, and I also have some other little measuring items. Pencil, my razor knife, and now I just got to get my iron, and we're going to fix her up. Okay, now I've cut my pieces, so here's where the blue one's going to go up here, and then I cut a white piece here, and it's going to go underneath the bottom. So then we're going to iron it on using this iron. Okay? Okay. Okay, so the blue is on, and it is slightly a different color, but I had the blue that I had, and like I said, only this part of it right here is going to be showing outside the airplane. Gives it a little character, you know. This is my crasher anyway, so now I've got to do the back. Okay, so now we've added the white. And we've got it roughly ironed on with the blue. Now we're going to have to shrink dry it and shrink wrap it. This material gets real tight and hard when you shrink wrap it. Okay, here's the finished product. And this wing can fly again. So it's all nice, and be able to insert that, and it's patched up and from the air, and when it's on the plane you won't ever know anything happened to it. So that's what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to go and I think I'm going to hook it to the plane, and then we'll be done. So this is the underneath the airplane. So okay, so you got the airplane, it's up here, right? It's sitting on my camera. And here's the wing. See, there's the thing we just added. And that has to go, when it's connected to the plane, it inserts into there. So that's what we did. This is where it secures, and then there's bolts that bolt the wing on here, and this holds the firm the wing on. So that's now very solid. Fits right in that little notch. And it's all good. Okay, here's the final product. She's all put together. So see, this is where we work. You can see it's just a little bit different color, but she can fly all up under there. It's all so she's perfect. So this is my crasher airplane anyway. Next year I'm going to fly her a couple more weeks here before snow comes, maybe a month or so, and then I'm going to fly my new airplane next year. But she looks pretty good for a beater. She's crashed like 3 times, so I think she's a pretty rugged airplane. I fixed her up. We just keep going. And look, I cleaned up the kitchen just for those of you who are wondering.